Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, where we look at the latest comics and other media featuring the Transformers. In this episode, we continue to delve into the Energon Universe with a review of Destro number 4. Plus, is AI taking over all aspects of Transformers? ChatGPT says yes. Today is Friday, September 20th, 2024, and this is episode 408 of Transmissions Alt Mode.
Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, the podcast that's seen Transformers 1, and we're not going to tell you what we thought about it in this episode. I'm your host, Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Jeremy, aka Yakko.
I really want to talk about it, but we can't. We're going to save it for... We have something so much better to talk about this episode. Hi.
Char, aka Robo Apollo.
There are no spoilers for Transformers 1 from me today.
And Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
I can talk about Transformers 2.
Revenge of the Fall.
Let's talk Transformers.
All right, as always, we start off the show by thanking our Donatreons, those lovely people who support us on Patreon and PayPal. Thank you all so much for continuing to help us out and contributing to the show. We really appreciate it. If you are not a Donatron and would like to become one, just go to transmissionspodcast.com/support, and that's where you can sign up. We've got lots of perks, bonus content, other stuff. That includes bonus shows like our bonus show, We Like Big Bots. And that's done by Daryl and Dr. Pants. So you can check that out. We've got 14 episodes of our bonus show available on our through our Donatron page. So if you are a Donatron, you can get that through our Patreon page. And more coming before the end of the year, Daryl, maybe. We'll see. Hopefully. Pretty please.
I don't know. Maybe.
We'll see. But yeah. Check out all the big bots in Daryl and Dr. Pants' collections and all
That's
those
Dr.
episodes.
Pants.
He's not here.
No, that's not my problem.
We've also got our Transformers Live Play RPG podcast, Empire of Rust. And this week we have the bonus show of Empire of Rust. We release a week before the regular show goes up. We release a bonus uncut version that is available only to our Donatron. So that's up on our Patreon page. And then the regular version of that episode will be out next week, next Monday, September 23rd. So you don't have too many days to wait for the regular version. But the bonus version has lots of outtakes, uncut stuff that doesn't make it into the final edit. So you should really check that out. And so that is episode 124, All the President's Bots. Again, that is available through our Patreon page for all our Donatrons. And we've still got issues of our Transformers number 1, Skybound version of Transformers number 1 that we commissioned last year. And that has artwork by EJ Sue on the cover. And you can pick that up at our website at transmissionspodcast.com/comic. And we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of Transformers at Skybound. So check that out and maybe get one of our variant covers. And lastly, of course, we've got our Toy Hacks September code. Use this promo code TF1, that's TFONE, for 15% off all your orders at toyhacks.com. So you can use that as many times as you like throughout the month of September. Cannot be combined with any other promo codes, but can be combined with your Robo Points. So take advantage of that. And that's all our intro. So let's move on to a little bit of comics news. So we just got one item in comics news, but unfortunately, it's not a great one. So we have one of the variant covers for Transformers 13, which will be released next month. So apparently, was not done in the traditional way of developing artwork. So artist Francesco Mattina has actually had a history of plagiarizing and using AI for work, and they have used AI now. It looks like, I mean, at least it's not. There's no verification, but it looks like they have been using AI in a couple of newly cover images that are coming out, and one is for Transformers. So one was actually another one was a commissioned Superman cover that what we got to see a look at, and that was also AI generated, and DC actually pulled that cover from the September. It was supposed to be out in September, and they pulled it. And yeah, so the looks like the and with the Superman, I don't. It's hard to see in the picture here, but one of the telltale signs of an AI generated image is when there's like bits of letters or lines that are or things that are not misaligned that show up in the artwork. So if you look at the Superman symbol on Superman's chest here, there's actually another piece of an S below the S, that's actually on the image, and so it makes it clear that a human being would not just put that random extra line there, because we know what an S looks like, and we don't just put other shapes there.
And the Superman S is kind of iconic.
Yeah,
just a little.
And you can also see, if you look at the Megatron image, there are also various problems with this image. Particularly the shoulder is looking both shoulders look very funky. They look like they're not really. If this was drawn, this would be someone who does not really understand perspective or uh spatial
Transformers.
Transformers, spatial reasoning and awareness of how things move in 3D space.
And you said both of them. You mean all three shoulders, right?
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah, he's got a third shoulder.
Yeah, it's very weird. I mean, it's what bothers me is that, like, this made it through Skybound's editorial. Like, what were you guys looking at the images when you approved them? It's
and
yeah,
Hasbro's.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
It's really terrible that like this got approved. Like looking
Mhm.
at these AI created images like this one, I saw this cover before like realizing it was AI, but anything that's made with AI is very confusing to look at. Like there's always something that like we find on even like a subconscious level that's like off about it, and then like
Mhm.
it's like you just want to stare at it because you're like something's off about this, and then once you find it, it's like for this one it's like, oh, if he's got a double shoulder, and like then it's just yeah, it's just so disappointing that this got approved.
Yeah. And especially, like, and we'll have an article in the show notes that this is not the first time that this artist has been caught doing things like this. So they apparently have a history of both plagiarizing and tracing other people's artwork, and now using AI to generate artwork and then passing it off as their own. So they should probably, like, the companies should probably put this guy on I mean, I guess blacklisting is bad, but I mean, this is
Just
probably warranted.
They should just review his art a little more strictly.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's ridiculous. I do want to kind of give a hat tip to Yoshi, who DM'd me asking about if I'd seen this, and I hadn't at the time, and he was like, it might be good to talk about on the show. So, thanks Yoshi for pointing that out, because it, really, really horrible use of AI here.
Mm. Yep.
Yeah.
Shout out to Yoshi. Thanks, Yoshi.
Yeah.
So yeah, unfortunately, that's all the comics news we got to talk about. I mean, I am not picking up this cover for Transformers number 13. So I mean, I don't know if they're still going to produce it. I mean, I guess at this point, it might be too late to stop production of the cover. But
Is it? I don't know if they said, is it cover A or was it a variant?
I think it's a variant.
Okay.
I hope it's a
So
variant.
at least, hopefully it's that, not going to be the main one everyone gets.
Because I think usually, doesn't Daniel Warren Johnson usually do the cover A's
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
these books?
So yeah, it's cover E. It's the 1 in 50.
Oh, okay.
Do you think they could do a reprint with a different cover?
I mean, your store has to buy 50 of cover A to get one of these. So
Yeah.
right. So it's not likely there's going to be many of these kicking around out there.
Okay.
Which sadly will make it more valuable to collect.
No. No.
Come on, we can do it. Don't buy it. Just don't buy it. Just don't buy it.
Skip this one.
Consequently, there is also a blank sketch variant on this same book. So you can buy the sketch variant and make your own cover.
Yes. Commission a Transformers artist. There's plenty of artists who've drawn for the official Transformers comic, and who've done cover art in the past. And
Yep. All right. Okay. Well, that's all our comics news. Let's move on to our comic review.
All right. This week we are reviewing Destro number 4. This is written by Dan Waters, art by Andre Bresson, colors by Adriano Lucas, letters by Russ Wooten, editors Ben Abernathy. This is the penultimate issue of the Destro series. So, Daryl, there's one issue left of the series.
That is unfortunate. I thought this was the last one.
All right. So the story begins in the capital of Darkvonia. Destro's cousin, Darklon, the president-elect of the country and acting CEO of Mars Industries. He's meeting with Xamot and Tomax of Extensive Enterprises. The twins want to buy Mars Industries since now it seems that Destro is dead. It wouldn't be seemly for a world leader to be running a major arms company, would it? They offer a check with far too many zeros, and Darklon has Mercer show them a demonstration of the bats that Mars Industries have been working on. The android troopers look impressive at first, destroying a lot of target dummies quickly. Then the twins are shocked when the bats start turning on each other. They can't tell friend from foe, and they just attack whatever is available to shoot at. Holed up somewhere in the U.S. after meeting with General Flagg, Destro has been reading up on the history of the U.S. military's sins. Despite the redactions, he's able to pick out the destruction that the government or that the general public has never heard about. One name is familiar to him, though, as he reads the report of Duke Hauser's encounter with an intelligent jet. Duke came after him thinking that Mars was behind the weapon, and he also reads about the interest in that the government has on anyone that has been working on technology like that. Having read enough, Destro calls Mercer and asks if he was missed while he was dead, as he sets some plans in motion. And then Destro leaves General Flagg with the letter that he had been writing and a bouquet of flowers. And General Flagg wonders if the dread of working with the devil he knows, or if he dreads working with the devil he knows, or maybe just the devil. In the fancy party, Astoria Carlton Ritz is urging all of her employees to drink up. She's throwing the party and she wants everyone to be as drunk as she wants to be herself. Suddenly, Destro surprises her, shocking her with his lack of being dead, and he asks for a private moment. She tells them to go to a meeting room upstairs and she'll be there after powdering her nose. And then she rushes down the staircase and out of the building. Expecting this, Destro has Scrap Heap fire a missile at her from a rooftop as soon as she enters the alley. She quickly disarms it with her localized EMP, and Destro is on her again. She starts to fight him off when he asks how well her EMP works on a regular bullet fired from his golden gun. He then lets her know that he knows that she's Chameleon, and he guesses that her powers are from her father's experiments on her, and that she attacked the arms fair. He was right on the first part, but she didn't attack the fair. Then she realizes that he didn't know anything about Operation Overkill. It's a system that she worked on with her father, and it has become autonomous. It determined that the fair was dangerous and attacked. She's afraid of what it's going to do when it achieves its goal of ending war on Earth. And it's running in a satellite orbiting Earth, and it's always watching. At Mars Industries, Xamot and Tomax have been going through Destro's files and discovered a partnership they had formed with a mysterious person, and they believe that they have similar goals, even more so than the persons with Destro's. They then watch as a helicopter lands on the rooftop of the building, and they welcome Cobra Commander to Mars Industries. To be concluded. So this issue I didn't really enjoy much at all. There was almost nothing happening. It was all exposition. It was set up for this finale and whatever's coming next. And I don't know. I feel like the last issue had a lot of action, a lot of, great things with the fight scenes and everything. And this one was just, you're watching things as you're reading a letter that Destro is writing, and it just was not as enjoyable. And I've been really enjoying the series up till now. I thought the art was okay. It wasn't my favorite, but I really wanted something more to happen. The little fight in the alleyway with the story was not really what I was looking for. But it's obviously the setup to this last issue and to the G.I. Joe series and stuff. So we'll see, but maybe we'll just end up getting a book of Cobra Commander landing on on tops of buildings with helicopters, because that seems to be what we've seen the last few series, like with the Scarlet and with this. And anyway, Char, let's start with you. What was your thought on the book?
Well, I haven't read the other ones, I realized. So this is one, the Energon series, I am not reading. But I read this issue, and I didn't really enjoy it too much, partially because I didn't know what had happened in the previous issues. But I just think a lot didn't happen, and there's nothing wrong with having exposition in a comic, but part of the comic format is there needs to be action involved in the comic format. That has to have that right blend of plot moving forward with a little bit of exposition and then action. And I found myself like not compelled to read this series. Like I would not go back and read the other issues. So that's my thoughts on it. Like I thought the art was fine. And the coloring I thought was nice, but the pacing was just really strange.
Yeah. And Daryl, this is probably your favorite one, right? What did you think?
Oh yeah, big fan. So did I miss how Destro is alive?
Yeah, at the end of the last issue, we saw him go to a U.S. military base.
Oh, that's right.
Scotland.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah, I blocked it out, obviously. So Yeah, it's a lot. It's a huge info dump. Um, I know this is probably something from GI Joe, but like the guy at the start of the book, his name is Darklon,
Mm-hmm.
and he's the leader of Darklonia.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Well, he's the president-elect.
President-elect. So it's just by chance.
Yeah.
That he has the same name as the country. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Just coincidence.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Got that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know this, like Chameleon wasn't the one that shot at him last issue, right?
Yes, it was.
It was the masked figure that he fought.
Yeah.
It was her. It was Astoria.
Oh, okay. All right. All right, cool.
It's obviously holding your interest there.
It is not holding my interest at all. So I mean, the EMP that's built into this Chameleon his character is kind of cool. I mean, like I'm not super interested in the story the way it's going. You've got Cobra Commander here at the end, but obviously the twins don't know that Destro's alive yet. So
yeah,
yeah, it's an info dump. These have, regardless of the title, have never been my favorite type of comics. But yeah, we'll see where it goes in the actual final issue.
All right. Charles, what were your thoughts?
Meh. It was fine. I mean, the artwork was fine. The story was, yeah, it was. I mean, the things that I found interesting about it were the Transformers, like the small Transformers reference of having, and the way they tied Astoria, Colt, and Ritz, like in the G1 episode, The Girl Who Loved Powerglide, which is what she's from. She was kind of this ditzy girl who was just a spoiled brat. Like that was her whole persona. Here, of course, it's her cover, but that's not who she really is.
Mm-hmm.
But she also in the cartoon, she was just a jinx. Like she was somehow, like she made technology go haywire around her for no reason. And here in the comic, they gave it a reason. Like she has an EMP built into her body. So I thought that was interesting that they tied that aspect of her character from the cartoon into this new version.
And here she's able to control it.
Yeah. So I thought that was really interesting. Also interesting choice to make her Chameleon, who is also a character in G.I. Joe that is a Cobra assassin. So she will, I guess, this girl who loved Powerglide is now a Cobra assassin, I guess. Which is interesting. I wonder if Powerglide ever makes it into the Transformers series. Will something ever happen there? So that's
the body count in the Transformers series was already pretty high.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's interesting that they're actually making this. They're basically smushing those two characters together in this series. Also, I want to give a mention to Carl's Collection, who left a comment from our episode 401, where we did the Destro #2 spoiler review. And in that comment, he said, "I suspect that Chameleon is actually Astoria Ritz-Carlton. Otherwise, why include her in the first issue? I think she was meant to seem like a throwaway character, but is actually a threat hiding in plain sight." Carl's Collection,
Well
you
done.
nailed it.
Nice.
Yeah,
well done.
And we did read that comment on the show a few weeks ago when we in our feedback. So and I think we did give you your credit there, that seemed like a plausible theory, and here your theory has been proved correct. So congratulations, you get the no prize for this week. So yeah, that was the most interesting thing about the issue, unfortunately. So yeah, not everything else was kind of and I still like, I wonder where we're like, I mean, when we finally get to Cobra and GI, like how does Cobra operate in a 2024 world? Like, what in the 80s, of course, it's easy to have, like, you have this global terrorist organization that is, it's very simplistic and everything. But if you're trying to make this comic work in and make it somewhat plausible, it seems like, yeah, it seems weird that you've got the CEO of a weapon supplier that supplies basically everyone is going to secretly fund a terrorist organization. Well, I guess I don't know. Maybe that's maybe that's more realistic than I care to admit. um, but I guess we'll see. I mean, we are setting the stage for Cobra here. I mean, it's these but yeah, these miniseries, their endings have sometimes kind of, I don't know, fallen flat, at least.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see.
All right. Well, that is our review.
All right. Well, let's move right on into media news.
All right, and first up in media news, we've got um, that little piece of animation we were talking about a few weeks ago by Studio Trigger came out, and there was a lot of speculation about what it was gonna be. A lot of people were hoping it was gonna be a series, and we got a little bit less than that in a 3-minute clip. So, but they packed this 3 minutes with just about every single Transformer that has ever existed. So, um,
Mhm.
yeah, there's an awful lot here. From like, it's insane. I know that there's a couple of YouTube channels out there that are dedicating themselves to trying to to ID every single character in this thing, and it's a lot. There's an awful lot of characters in here, so make a game of it and go through it and try and identify them all. There's hundreds of them, so have fun with that. But yeah, it's pretty good. Um, uh, Char, what did you think of this Studio Trigger animation piece?
Um, I thought it was really cool. Like, I've seen some shows Studio Trigger has animated, and like I've seen Promare, which they animated, and I really enjoyed it. I like their animation style. I think it's very dynamic and it flows in a very engaging way. I love seeing all the references. I love seeing the Maltos in there. That was super cool. And Of course, the Starscream scene where he's flying, and then there's Waspinator, and there are a few different versions of Starscream. That was cool. But you could tell a lot of thoughtfulness was put into this animation. There's so many references, to all the different Transformers media that's like existed. So I thought it was cool. I remember when we were talking about like Studio Trigger, and earlier in the year, I believe it's this year, it would be cool if they did animate a show. Like that would be really cool. I know that's something that we'd all really like, but this was a nice tribute, this video for the 40th anniversary. And, you know, I thought they did a good job with it.
Right on. Charles, did you notice anything that you didn't expect to see?
I mean, I was surprised like that they covered basically every era of Transformers animation, both in the West and in Japan, and that was things that like also not just like focusing on some of the human characters, on some of the side characters. You get a glimpse of basically everyone in this really short video, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I mean, I think the only thing that was missing was Transformers comics references. So I think this was mostly focused on animation, which is fine. But of course, as a big Transformers comics fan, I couldn't help but notice that missing. But even some of the live action movie stuff. Yeah, we see here's the Rise of the Beast characters. So we had stuff from the live action movies rendered in 2D animation. So yeah, everything from TV and movies got an aspect here, which it looked great. I mean, I love 2D animation. It's unfortunate that 2D animation has become kind of less visible in the industry now. I think at least outside of anime, you don't get a lot of 2D animation either on film or on TV. But yeah, I love this. I mean, I wonder how much of it you can. It's not hand drawn anymore, but it is the style is still this 2D animation style that I think we all grew up with and love. So yeah, it's great. I mean, yeah, this part here with Beast Wars Megatron carrying G1 Megatron in gun form, and then they face off with Optimus Primal with Optimus Prime, and then they merge. That's super cool. Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Probably get taken
Really
down
cool.
for that little bit.
No, this was all good. You should definitely everyone go watch the whole thing. Put it on repeat. It's great. Watch it frame by frame.
Mm-hmm. And Jeremy,
Yeah,
we know that you're not a huge fan of 2D animation anymore, because obviously you'd hate the 86 movie. But what did you think of this?
It was okay for 2D animation. No, I thought this was a lot of fun. I was surprised to see the live action references, but I was happy to see things like animated, RD 2001, just all the various things. And like Charles said, just everything except for the comics, it seems like. But it was just a lot of fun. It was just too short, 3.5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It was just too short.
Yeah.
But seeing Beast Wars Megatron holding G1 Megatron in gun mode in his mouth, that was something I never expected to see. That was fun.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, from something computer generated that was awesome to something computer generated that is not so awesome. We talked about something earlier in the show, that little AI, and that was kind of crappy. Well, this thing here is another thing that's happened, and it kind of made the rounds on social media last couple of days. This was a picture surfaced of Brian Tyree Henry at one of the premieres for Transformers 1. And he's sporting a very cool Megatron jacket. It's a long overcoat, and on the back of the jacket is a image of Megatron. and very cool image. That got posted to social media, and an artist said, "Hey, that jacket looks really cool, but that's my art." No, nobody asked me about using my art or paid me or anything like that. They just kind of stole my art, and that's no good. That's not right. So this has gotten looked at, and people have posted here and there, and this is the same picture. There's been some alterations made to it. You can definitely see that there's been some kind of AI fuckery happening, but it's the same image. I mean, you can definitely tell the face is exactly the same. But if you look at it a little bit more closely, you can definitely see where there's some changes. Does that make it right? Does that make it a new image? There's things to argue on both sides of that, I guess. But to start off with, you still need the original image, and that requires compensation to the original artist. You can't just take somebody's art, use it, and say, okay, well, I did this now, and now it's mine. So anyway, let's go to our resident artist. I think I know where you're going to fall on this, Shar, but let's open the floor. What do you think?
Oh, when I saw this, I felt so bad for the artist because I saw the tweet that the artist had posted, and I'm like, wait, what happened? Yeah, it's really devastating having your work used without your consent or permission, and also just not to be compensated for it. And the original artwork looked so much better than whatever AI filter or generator they ran it through. Like there's something weird going on with Megatron's leg, and the lighting isn't the same throughout the image on the coat versus the original. And I really hope, I don't think the Brian knew that the designer took the art. I think the designer of the jacket just found cool art on the internet and thought running it through some filters or through AI would be enough to like avoid copyright infringement. But this is still stealing someone's work, and I hope that the original artist gets compensated somehow. But I don't know if that's going to happen, or maybe Brian can bring awareness to the situation if he finds out that the jacket he bought is using AI art that's stolen from a different artist. So, it brings up a lot of, ethical issues around AI. And, before this show, we were joking around and playing with GPT for just funsies. And it's just, these tools need to be used responsibly. And yeah, they're just tools. And I don't agree with AI art at all. I'm completely against it. I've heard different opinions on it, like, for prototyping, like artwork, as a proof of concept. But like, I don't use AI in my art at all. And I just really hope that this artist who drew that Megatron picture gets that there's justice for them, that they get compensated, or at least an apology. Like, because it's not okay to do this. And we need to have we might need to have law. I think we're gonna have to have laws around this, just with the use of AI. And the base artwork, you brought this up, Daryl. They use the base artwork taken from another artist to make this jacket, and that's not okay.
Mm-hmm. Jeremy, what are your thoughts?
I think it's reprehensible, but I agree that Brian Tyree Henry probably had no idea.
Yeah.
I saw on another like comment on Twitter about this that they said that this design was all over Pinterest. So maybe
Oh.
even the person that made the jacket didn't realize that they were using stolen art because they just saw this image all over Pinterest and they commissioned someone or something. I don't know. But I mean, regardless, the original artist is being ripped off and should be some, at least recognized in a public way. It's hard to kind of put the horse back in the barn at this point in terms of, this is done, but someone needs to publicly, do something to kind of make right with the artist, because it's not right that you spend time and effort on this, put it out there, and it's completely ripped off. And all the artists said that, they're like, if they had asked me, I would have given the original files. It's a fan, and being asked, hey, can I use your artwork on this that the actor in the movie is gonna wear on the red carpet? A lot of fan artists would be like, yeah, I mean, sometimes it sucks being paid in exposure sometimes, but it's also sometimes cool. So it just I don't know, it really sucks for the artist. I really hate it for them, but they are getting a lot of publicity from this, in like people like us, other people kind of resharing what's happened. So I'm hopeful that at some point there will be something publicly saying, we didn't realize this was stolen art.
Yeah. I'm hopeful that Brian Tyree Henry will get word of it and be like, well, that ain't cool. And here's like, send a check or something like that to the artist. But anyway, Charles, bring it home for us, buddy.
I mean, I think you guys have said all there is to say. I
No, we know how you feel. You're
I loved
an engineer. You're an engineer doctor. Not a creative
doctor
not a,
for engineers.
Yeah, not a creative bone in your body. You have to you
really?
You don't know. You like words instead of art. It's you have to you're probably going to disagree with the rest of us here, right? So
no. No, I mean, you should never be using, if you are going to make something like this and you're a fashion designer and you're dressing a star in your original creation, it should be your original creation. I mean, that's pretty simple. I mean, if you searched on Pinterest to find this image, you didn't create this image. So what are you doing? Like, if this image was all over Pinterest, you should be able to track down who the original artist was and say, hey, can I use your image? I mean, that seems like a pretty easy thing to do before you made this coat. I mean, it's a cool idea. It's a cool coat, but you got to get the permission. I mean, that's all there is to it. There's a limit. I mean, we know what fair use is. I don't think this is covered under fair use for copyrighted images. I mean, this is clearly, taking advantage of all the effort they put into creating this very cool Megatron image and passing it off as your own, which is not cool. I mean, and I don't, and it's not, I don't think it's, I mean, I don't think even, I think the technology is a separate discussion. It doesn't matter what technology you're using. If you're passing something off that you didn't create as your own, that's wrong. So, I mean, AI makes it easier to do that, but you still shouldn't be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, there you go. 2 AI stories in one show.
They're taking
That's
over everywhere.
Yep. That's it for media news this week.
All right. Well, we will finish up the show with some feedback. Okay, so we've got feedback from several episodes ago. So this is from all the way back to episode 373. I believe this was issue 1 of the first issue of Cobra Commander that we reviewed. And this comment comes from Robot Prophet's Moon, and they say, I've never watched the original G.I. Joe series or movie, but I really love this Cobra Commander miniseries, which is saying a lot because I'm a big Transformers fan. I just took all the unfamiliarity as an awesome sci-fi story, and I actually look forward to more of the Skybound comics. So
Who needs this comment anyway? It doesn't. I mean, come on. Thank you for your comment.
it's okay.
Yes.
Everyone's allowed to have their own opinion, Daryl.
That's true. Everyone can have their own opinion.
Well, thank you for writing in. I'm curious since I don't know if they're still watching or listening. I appreciate you keep coming back, but Robot Prophet's Moon, if you could tell us how the Cobra Law stuff hit for you when you read it, and because I think that was one of the criticisms we had of the first issue, is that Cobra, even though Cobra Law is a reference to the G.I. Joe the movie, they didn't really put much effort into explaining what it was in the story, in the context of the story. So
I think that's what they're saying right here, is they're taking all the unfamiliarity of like the Cobra Law stuff as an awesome sci-fi story.
Okay, I mean,
that's the way I took their comment.
All right, I guess it'll continue to develop.
I took the unfamiliarity as a shitty sci-fi story.
Fair enough. All right. Moving back to the present, we've got comments from episode 407, last week's episode of Alt Mode. First, and this was our review of Transformers number 12 last week. The first comment from KCD6926. I've got mixed feelings on this issue and the whole Skybound run so far, but I will say this: what better way to end the first year of Skybound Transformers than bloodthirsty killer Optimus Prime? I think that's a slight mischaracterization of what happened in Transformers number 12. I mean, he did kill Shockwave, but I think he was maybe the opposite of bloodthirsty. He seemed pretty remorseful as to what he did there. So
he didn't seem all there during the act.
Yeah.
He killed that deer.
He jumped up and down on it once he stepped on it.
He never reached I'll take your face or whatever.
Yeah. Give me your face.
Killed Sparkplug.
Yeah.
All right. And last comment.
I mean, if you look closely, Optimus Prime's body count is up there.
Well, it is. It is. Mm-hmm. That's true. I wouldn't call him bloodthirsty though. That's a little bit too far.
He always feels bad, even though he doesn't.
He has remorse.
Yeah. Okay, our last comment is a long one from our regular YouTube watcher and listener, Stuart 118. Stuart's been coming back pretty regularly in the last year or so, commenting on our shows on YouTube. So Stuart says, this was a great episode about a great issue of a great series so far. It got me to thinking Optimus Prime absolutely did the right thing 100 times out of 100. To use ill-gotten gains is to condone whatever method was used to get them. There was a reason the United States hid how we got the technology gotten from the Nazi scientists via Operation Paperclip for decades. The same goes for the research gotten from Japanese scientists of Unit 731. It was gotten through horrific means. It was a betrayal of those who were murdered to achieve those advances. It's condoning literal war crimes. Another great comparison would be Mass Effect 2. At the end of the suicide mission, you're given the choice of saving the collector base and using its technology to stop the Reapers or destroying it. Keeping the base is a renegade choice, making things somewhat easier in Mass Effect 3, while destroying it is a paragon choice, making it somewhat more challenging in Mass Effect 3. For me personally, it was absolutely wrong to use the technology achieved and or gotten via the murder of hundreds of thousands of people. To use it would literally be saying that you're okay with the methods Shockwave used, and there is no way someone with Optimus Prime's moral compass would be okay with butchering hundreds of thousands of life forms, whether they be sentient or not. To quote Commander Shepard after he tells the elusive man that he or she is going to blow up the collector base, I won't let fear compromise who I am. What he did by destroying that Energon was the most Optimus Prime thing to do possible. He did the right thing. I know we'll have to simply agree to disagree on that topic, and there's nothing wrong with that. Thanks as always. I can't tell you how much I love the Transformissions podcast. But we don't disagree with that. And I don't think we all I don't think all of us disagreed with it. I think there was some discussion last week of that episode. At least I don't remember saying I think Optimus did the wrong thing there. I think it was I think his you disagree, Daryl.
Yeah, Daryl.
Agreed. You disagreed. That's fine. But I think we're on the same page, Stuart. So thanks for writing in. And we're definitely on the same page with the Transmissions podcast. Thank you for your support and continuing to watch us and send in your feedback every week. You don't like Transmissions, Daryl?
It's Daryl. No. What are you doing here?
He made a lot of comparisons to Mass Effect. I've never played that game.
Yeah,
I don't know any. Yeah. I don't know any of those comparisons. I'm going to assume that it's awesome, but I've never played Mass Effect.
Yeah, I did. I have not played those games either. I started the first Mass Effect, but I didn't finish it. So, but I mean, he explained the gist. I think his explanation in the comment was like, it was that unfamiliar sci-fi story that you might like it or not like it, but I think he explained what the reasoning was. So I think that was fine. You're still on board with Transmissions, though, right, Daryl? Yes?
It's a big time commitment. It's a lot of work. And right now, right this very moment, it's very late.
Yeah. Well, we had to get that last comment in. Thank you, Stuart, for writing in.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We stayed up extra late just to read that comment. But yeah, right. Thank you again, and glad you're enjoying the shows. And it's because of those great comments from people like you that makes us want to keep making these shows and keep talking about Transformers. So thank you. And
Transformers. Yes, Transformers.
Transmissions. Yeah. We talk about Transformers and other stuff too.
Yeah. That's Daryl's point.
Yeah. All right. Well, today is the day of Transformers 1 in theaters, so everyone go see that. Go see Transformers 1. We will have a spoiler filled discussion of that probably in the next week or so. We did release another first impression reaction video because we got to see it early last week. So that should already be on YouTube. If you haven't had a chance to see it, just go to our YouTube channel and take a look. And that's it for feedback, and that's it for the rest of this show. Thanks everyone for watching and listening again. We really appreciate it. Of course, at the end of every episode, we give a shout out to our Masterpiece Donatrons. Those are the folks who continue to support the podcast at our highest level on Patreon. And that's why we think they deserve a mention in every episode. So thank you once again to John Forks Lemongood, Demon Tech 82, and Steve C. You guys rock. You're awesome.
The best.
The best. Shar, you are also the best. Thanks
Aw.
again for hanging out with us this week. Why don't you tell everyone where you can get your stuff online?
Yeah, no, I always enjoy being on the show, so thank you for inviting me back. Hope to be on more. So you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at RoboPaulo, and then also in the Transmissions Discord at transmissionspodcast.com/Discord. So that's how you join, and it's a great way to connect with fans. And thanks again for having me on.
All right. And that's it for this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Later.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Transmissions. If you'd like to join the conversation, travel to our Discord channel at transmissionspodcast.com/Discord. Want some cool transmission swag? Feast your eyes on our transmissions gear at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. If you'd like to support our podcast, go to transmissionspodcast.com/support or tell your friends about our show. We'll see you next time.